Boost your credit score within 30 days.
How to get an 800 credit score in 30 days.
In 30 days.
This is not that sort of video. If you are looking for that get quick rich scheme, then I'm not your guy. I'm going to share some useful information which always works, period. In this video, I'm going to show you how you can reach to impressive 800 plus credit score as a beginner without any credit history. All you have to do is follow my tips and be persistent. So let's get started.
Today's rate hike saying they'll push credit card rates north of 20%.
Right, recommend to Americans to start organizing their debt.
Because if you want to borrow money ultimately to buy a house or a car, you've got to have a good credit rating.
Historically, lenders in Canada and United States rely on a credit system called FICO to lend money to people. When it comes to lending money, interest rate is the key. Lenders may charge 10% interest rate or even less for the people with higher credit scores, but they can charge as much as 50% interest rate for people with poor credit scores. It's easy to overlook these stuffs when you have a good credit history as well as you don't need to lend money as of now. But remember that more than 50% of the people in United States have more than 750 as their credit score. So the competition for lending money is still high. But imagine the seriousness and the need of this credit score when you are actually looking to get the mortgage rate and the rate is not given to you just because of your credit score, or probably your rental application is rejected just because of your credit score, or whether you are at the car showroom and want to get that car but your credit score is not enough to get it. It really adds up quickly when you don't have enough credit score. So how will you build your credit score from scratch? Now let's understand how the scores are calculated. And trust me, I had no idea when I first came to Canada, but apparently I'm not the only one. Around 4 out of 10 people in United States don't know how this formula works, and around 47% people in Canada don't know how to check their credit scores. Let me show you. Scores are divided into these categories. It's easy to understand by just looking at them. The on-time payment history builds 35% of your credit scores. How much you use your available credit makes up to 30% of your credit scores. Your actual credit history comes up to 15%. Your public records information covers up to 10% of your credit score. And finally, the inquiries on your credit records are covering 10% of your credit score. Now to build your credit score, you need to apply for credit products. An average American holds 4 credit cards right now, and an average Canadian holds more than 2 credit cards right now. And this is totally excluding the other credit products. Now to be honest, I don't think that they actually hold it to lend more money, but they do maintain because they want to make sure that their credibility is high in the eyes of credit lords. Also, you get some rewards and perks, which is obviously helpful. But don't fall for that quick credit building loans, because if you miss any of their payments, you get a huge dent on your credit score. Instead, to build your credit score when you don't have any authority at the beginning, say yes to any credit products offered to you as long as they are free. Free line of credit, no annual fees, say yes. Free unsecured credit card with no annual fees, say yes. So this means anything. Your local grocery stores offering you the credit card, take it. Walmart credit card, probably take it. Everything will build your credit history. If you want to go with a traditional route, go to your bank, ask for credit card. If they don't approve your credit card, then ask for a secured credit card where you put some money in and they give you equal amount of balance in your credit card. Also, you can go for postpaid phone plans, which will appear in your credit records as well. Do remember that when you apply for credit cards, you go through hard credit checks, which will keep your credit scores low initially, but it will work in your favor eventually. That brings me to my next point, which is you have to work on building your credit history. Getting a credit product is first step towards building your credit score, but you will have to maintain it to keep it for long. I hope I knew this earlier because I closed my credit card which was 5 years old and my credit score dropped by almost 30 points and it took around 2 months to get it back. Having a longer and good history adds up to almost 35% of your credit score formula. But to maintain what you have to make some right choices at the beginning of this journey of building your credit score. So one way to do that is don't fall for paid credit cards.
I am going to have to fix you, manage you to on a more personal scale.
And keep all the free credit cards for as long as possible. You don't have to close them, you don't have to use them. The older your overall history of the credit, the more valuable you are in the eyes of the credit lords. Because they check the average history of your credit products, which means if you have older credit cards, that works in your favor. Also, the hard inquiries only last for up till 5 years. After that, they are gone from your credit records. And eventually, clearing up those hard inquiries will also improve your credit score. But to build a good credit history, don't fall for this myth that you will have to keep some minimum balance in your credit cards and pay it over time.
Loan me 50 cents, Lou.
Yeah, but I would like to loan you 50 cents, but I can't do it. All I got is 40 cents.
This does not work. This never works and it will put you in the debt. Look at my credit history. You can see all the check boxes. Some of these credit cards I don't even use. So they are just paying $0 every month regularly. And it does not hurt my credit score at all. That brings me to my next point, which is maintaining a good credit reputation. Now, this is the most important section which will decide how quickly you can build that 800 plus credit score. But before we do that, I would really appreciate if you can hit that like button. Each like motivates me to build a better and useful content. Oh God, where do I start? Maintaining a good reputation is so important that it can make or break your credit scores. Studies have shown that around 35% people in United States are actively carrying their credit card balances. Worst part is average balance is more than $5,000. And even in Canada, the average balance is around $2,000 plus. And you know the reality, right? Banks usually loan to people who don't need it. So carrying active credit card balance will actually hit your credit score very bad. Try not to use more than 10% of your overall credit limit. If you have 5 credit cards and each credit card has $10,000, which makes your overall limit of $50,000, that means you should not cross overall $5,000 per month on your active usage. Because you know, right? It accounts for 30% of that formula. Every single time I utilize my credit card more than 10%, my credit score drops temporarily until I pay off the complete balance and then it comes back up in few weeks. But you can go to next level by actually setting up auto pay for your credit cards. So you all always have 0% utilization at the end of your statement period. I was able to achieve 100% on my on-time payment, which accounts for around 35% of that formula only by using the auto pay. You can use mixed debts like revolving credit, including credit cards or phone lines, credit lines, even mortgage. Anything that appears in your credit report works in your favor. But how to know that if you are doing everything right or even checking your credit score without making that hard inquiry? Well, previously when I came to Canada, it was probably not possible, but now we have Credit Karma. Credit Karma is a really good app. I always use it. It's called soft credit check, so you can use it literally for any time and it will not affect your credit score at all. I check it every 2 weeks to make sure that my credit score is doing okay or there are no inquiries besides my knowledge on my credit report, so that I can file dispute if there is something sketchy in my credit report. Now finally and hopefully, if you did not skip any part of the video and followed my tips just as I mentioned, even if you are a beginner doing this for the first time or already hit by a bad credit score, I believe it will pull you back into the good side of the things very soon. And that's what I call the snowball effect. Let's see how it works. If you are maintaining your credit score, paying bill on time, and also making sure that you are utilizing it correctly, then technically you can go to your bank every 6 to 12 months and ask for a credit increase. That will increase the room for your credit utilization on all of your credit products, and it will ultimately help you achieve that 800 plus credit score very soon. It happened to me and it will happen to you as well. Just be persistent. And finally, when you will actually need the credit score, whether it's for your rental application, your mortgage, or buying that new car, credit lots will be on your side. But if you are struggling to keep your spending low and not able to budget properly, then you should probably check out this video where I'm explaining simple yet effective strategy on how to budget for beginners. Thank you for watching the video and I will see you in the next one.